So today is Monday, March 16th. It's 12:30 p.m. I'm Simone. I'll be talking to my sister Crystal and we're going to continue to read on the coronavirus again today because Crystal had a really severe dream last night. So we're going to touch on that dream as well as some other questions that we didn't cover in our last videos that people wanted us to ask, and then other questions that we also came up with ourselves. So go ahead, Crystal. You want to segue into what your dream was about and what does that mean?
Yes, so last night I had a dream, a horrible dream that I awoke from, and I had to do my prayer immediately. Even in the dream, I was doing my prayer, and outside of the dream, I did my prayer. So in this dream last night, it told me, because I have a seeing eye in dreams also. It told me about a new strain that is going to be affecting the young kids, and the strain is going to be affecting the neck area. That's why they're unable to breathe properly. And with when it affects the neck, mouth area, it makes them it's hard to breathe. And me talking about it, I am channeling, and it's hard for me to even swallow now. Yeah. So when that virus comes in, the new strain, when it is affecting the neck area, it does something to the brain where it swells the brain or shakes the brain where it pulsates, and it does something to the head. It's like oxygen, it's unable to get oxygen, and that's a problem. That's why it's so severe, and you're unable to go to the restroom, poop. So you get a buildup of gas, and that's going to be a cause of why they die, because of the buildup of gas and unable to move the bowels. I know for COVID-19, for the coronavirus, they've identified that it affects the lungs, which some of the strain does affect the lungs greatly. And then they also say that you have diarrhea, but I'm talking about a new strain. This one's going to affect the youth. So children is going to affect more. They're going to be unable to breathe, unable to talk, unable to catch their breath. If they have access to go to the hospital, when the doctors do a scan, they're going to see something in the brain where it's swelling or it's shaking the brain to make it swell, and they're unable to release their self, like take out the toxin through, pee and poop. So that's what I had in the dream. So it was talking about a new strain.
So here's my question for you. When you say children, around what age are you talking about?
So it was from infancy, baby, 3 years old, 6 years old, 15-year-old, young kids.
Okay.
Young kids.
And
I would say 14 and under, 15 and under, okay. 16 and under, 17 and under.
So why is how come this one isn't necessarily affecting adults or young adults or older people? Why is it specifically for kids? What is it about kids that is affecting them? If you want to ask.
Okay, so I'm not a medical profession. I have worked in the medical field before, but I've heard the saying where they say the brain is not developed until, I believe, like 21 or something, it stops growing. Mm-hmm. There's something that this mutated virus latches onto the young.
Oh, wow.
That's not developed.
Okay.
And that's what's causing this problem.
Okay,
and that's serious. And could I elaborate one more thing? They meaning the public, the government, the media, you won't really hear much of it affecting the kids, especially because we live in the United States and we value children to a different standard. We don't want to see kids sick or hurt, so that's why for protocol, they even took the kids out of school so the media wouldn't cover, hey, a virus outbreak was in this elementary school, a virus outbreak was in this high school, because then that would be a mass panic, although we are having a mass panic now, but that would be something totally wild for our society.
So okay, so let's bring it back in for a second. When the virus attacks the kids, how quick is it going to take hold? Like from the time that they get it, from the time that they're sick to possibly mortality?
Hours. It's so fast. It's rapid. So your child could say, "Hey, I'm having trouble breathing," or "I'm having trouble swallowing." You whatever you have in your medicine cabinet, try to give it to them, because even rushing to the hospital could be too late. So if you have ibuprofen or something for allergic reaction, you want to give it to them like a pill. If you have activated charcoal, maybe you could give them 2 tablespoons with water, an 8-ounce glass of water, or
So
a cup of water.
What you're saying, like it could be fatal within a couple hours, or is it going to take longer than that for some?
Minutes. Yeah, a couple hours, like in a 24-hour
Okay, and then
setting. Because in the dream, I got to feel what they felt, and it just kept on coming back to back. The symptoms were back to back. I'm like, I can't breathe. My head is swelling. I can't even go to the bathroom. There's this weight on me, and I could feel the gas bubbling in me, and that's what kills.
That's a terrible way to. Wow. So when do you see this new strain coming around, or is it here already, or just when do you see it like hidden, basically?
We're gonna hear it about like 3, 4 days, 5 days
from now.
Yeah,
that soon?
Or it's just gonna be like some kids. I think we're hearing it. I haven't heard it personally, but I think even today they're gonna put an emphasis on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them inside. Still act like it's school. Give them a task to do in the house. Give them a book to read or something, because they're getting a lot of phone calls like, "Hey, my child is not feeling well. Does this have anything to do with COVID, the coronavirus?" And they're going to get a mass call.
Oh, but they won't necessarily broadcast it, right?
They won't broadcast it, but there will be some kids going in for testing, and it will be coming back positive.
And you're saying you could see this within like 3 to 5 days? Like it's going to be that soon?
Yeah, but they're going to emphasize on the kids, like, hey, take precaution with the kids, keep them inside, keep them hydrated, but they won't tell you why I'm emphasizing on the kids when the public or the government was saying in the beginning it's elderlies, it's the old. They're going to more so shift it on the children.
Oh, wow. Because, today on the news, I heard them say, hey, you don't treat this, the kids are off for 2-3 weeks. Do not treat it as it's a snow vacation, because it's not. You still need to take precautions. And I heard that on the news today, which is kind of ironic in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of that, let's talk about something that you just touched about, the fresh air. So, when I watched a video on like the influenza being spread in 1918, and I saw that what worked for a lot of patients to be recovered is the doctors put the really sick outside in sunlight and getting fresh air. I want to know if it's still important for us to be, not necessarily amongst people, because we're not going to do that, but maybe go in your backyard or go outside and get fresh air and sunlight. Is that still important to get, or is it better to be cooped up in your house? Like, what's better?
Yes and no. Mm-hmm. So from what my read told me, this virus is semi-airborne, so it does travel through the air, and you want to be careful how much time you spend outdoors, because again, this virus is traveling through the ear, and it's like an atom. You cannot see an atom, but the atom is there. So you don't see the virus, but it's there because it's air. It's invisible. So the best thing you can do is buy a humidifier and put it in your house to clear the air, and then you could even use little essential oils to clear the air. And sunlight is good, but you could open your windows.
Mm-hmm. And get a natural sunlight coming in.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's better to just stay indoors mostly?
Stay indoors.
If you can?
If you can. It's like a 50-50.
Okay.
There's not one that's greater that will help.
You mean it's not staying indoor won't necessarily help as going out? You're saying it's still...
Yeah, like if you're a sick patient, like you don't need sunlight to live. No, you need to take your precautions.
Okay.
And from what they told me, this virus is semi-airborne, so it travels through the air.
So you're basically saying it's not the same exact thing as what you would do during the influenza. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, okay. It's a little bit different, and that's where it differs. This virus from a flu.
Oh wow. And then, okay, so someone in one of the comments last night on the YouTube video, they said that the reason why we're not seeing it end in September, and some people are saying they see it end in September, is because there's a new strain that's coming in September. And I want to know if you see that. I know you said there's a new strain coming in like a couple of days that will affect minors, but do you see like a new strain coming in September, or is it going to keep going on?
Honestly, from what they're telling me, I say my spirit guides and stuff, what they are saying is this virus has many strains. So far, we only know of two, and then this one that I just told you about affecting the minors. But there's a lot, meaning that it mutates. So one of the mutated virus will affect the lungs and affect your bowels. Then the next one will affect the brain and affect your airway. Then another strand will affect the feet. What? Swelling, like your retention of fluid.
Yeah.
And it's giving me goosebumps by saying that, because that's going to be another strain of the virus where you're going to see a lot of people swelling up.
Yeah.
Their body, retaining water liquid. It's just a lot of different strains, and that's where they cannot find the pattern or the similarities. From the last video, I think it was part 2 or part 1, where I said the difference and similarities to a flu or from a virus that we know. They can't pinpoint a pattern in this virus to say, okay, well, so-and-so, you get retention in the feet, you get retention in the water with fluid, you have hard time breathing. No, because it varies. It really varies.
Yeah, so people were saying that they were getting this virus maybe in like November, December, even January of 2020 and November, December of 2019. And I feel like someone that I knew personally had it like in March or April of 2019. And I want to know, was that the COVID-19 or is that something else? Because the symptoms were the same, where it's like really sick, thinking you're going to die, hard to breathe. Do you see that it started maybe like a year ago? Yeah,
it is the same, but again, that I'm not saying that was the beginning of COVID-19, but you're talking to a doctor that does not specialize in pathogen and in viruses. So these people in March, April of 2019 were going to their
regular doctor,
primary care physician, and coming up with telling them, hey, I have this and this. And so they think, okay, your lack of dehydration, maybe it's something you ate, maybe it's the pill medication or something. But they did not have a manual that said, hey, if people have these sort of symptoms, it can be a form of COVID-19. It could be a
Because
form
it
of the
wasn't talked
virus.
about then.
It
That's
wasn't
why.
talked about,
So
and it wasn't circulating
yeah, I
in
guess my question though
popular.
for that, just to get back on point with what I was thinking, was that why was it there as early as that? I'm just saying, was it like how soon was this in the environment? We're thinking it was in the environment since maybe January of 2020, but obviously if someone had it last
No, it's
year
been
March.
there for a while. It's just that it's been mutating, and a lot more cases are coming
Okay.
in a rapid rate, and
Okay.
they're like, "Hey, this is putting on a red flag. Like, hey, there's a lot of people complaining about this. It could be one of the same thing."
Got it.
But then again, back in 2019 earlier, they're complaining for different things, and
Mhm.
that's where it's saying it's hard to identify a pattern in this virus, but there is some things that are consistent, like diarrhea, the lung problems, respiratory issues, stuff like that.
And I heard people saying like in certain comments, why are you guys buying up all the toilet paper? Which I don't think people should be buying up all the toilet paper because they were saying it because this illness doesn't have diarrhea to it. But you mentioned diarrhea a lot, and I want to know, is that one of those things? If you have
Yeah,
diarrhea, you
that's
should be
one.
worried. Sorry.
Yeah, that's one of the symptoms. That's one of the symptoms. I'm just talking about physical symptoms that someone can pinpoint. This virus does not have a pattern. Some people won't even have symptoms. That's the
Hmm.
thing. But if you do have a symptom of diarrhea, don't just think, oh, it's something I ate, or oh, I had too much alcohol the
Yeah.
previous night, or I ate curry. No, it could be a form of the symptom.
Okay.
So it's best to believe that everyone has it, including you, and just try to take your precautions as
Okay.
possible and try to be healthy as possible for your immune system to be able to at least have a fighting chance to fight the virus.
So I want to touch on some stuff like necessary things that you think will be beneficial for people to have. We know, of course, like water, canned goods, stuff like that. You mentioned humidifier. What are some of the other items that they're saying? I remember when you and I talked about this a couple of days ago, you mentioned like something like a heat warmer pad type stuff. And if you want to bring that up and why they say to get that. And by they, I mean like the spirit guides.
So yeah, I said like think of survival, think of things that you can eat right away. You don't need water, you don't need fire to cook it. So think of a canned food like sardine, tuna. Think of crackers. You could use that as your grain crackers. Water, juice, powdered
Gatorade, electrolytes.
yeah, electrolytes, um, Pedialyte for dehydration, coconut water if you can get your hand on that, electrolytes for if you have diarrhea, activated charcoal in case if you're fighting something and you don't know what it is. Activated charcoal could help with fighting off toxins, but you can't take that with food. So you try to take that early in the morning or before you have food. Um, so they also said to get a humidifier and then also a hypothermia silver blanket or a heating pad or a heating blanket just in case, because sometimes in this virus, it drops the temperature. I know they say your temperature rises too, but when it drops, that's when you can have seizures. I don't know if they talked about this in the public, the government or the media say that people have strokes and comas because of the virus, but you can get that because your body drops it. That's when your body just has too much of the virus in it. It goes into a shock mode, and that could be a life or death item that could help save a person.
So just having like a heated blanket to help out,
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. having gel packs, ice packs in case if you do have the flu too,
Hmm.
or like your body gets very hot, you need to cool it down. Having ice packs to help that.
I need to get some ice pack because I don't have that.
Yeah. You
Um,
just want to be prepared as possible in your house where you don't have to leave to get something or to go to a facility that has it.
yeah, you gotta like almost be your own medical doctor in a sense in case you're turned away from the hospital. You have to be able to help yourself. Is there any
Yeah.
other big ticket items on there, or mostly those things that you listed?
Um, Mostly those things, water bottle too.
Hmm.
I said, I don't know if I said this in one
I
of
don't
the
think you did in the video.
previous videos, but I know that the government or the media, the politicians will come out, your government will come out and say, hey, we think this virus might be in the water because this is how many people were infected in your cities, and now we need to turn it off so we can clean the water. So you have to make sure you do have some form of water at hand too,
Hmm.
just in case if they want to cut your water in your area
And I would probably even
to
put it
clean
like
it.
if you don't really even have that much water, I guess I feel like the water may be fine right now. I don't know if it is or
Yeah,
not.
fill
Maybe
up
like
with buckets
yeah, maybe
and
fill up some water. Like if you don't have enough bottles of water, or start saving your water bottles and start filling it up from the pipe before you get that message saying that it's time to cut off the water, if it's even going to get there. But you're saying that it may get there, right?
yeah, it may get there. Like I said, in this society, we want a solution and we want it fast.
Mhm.
And yeah, maybe a piece of that strain does get in the water, but you have to remember this virus mutates multiple times and it's a killer.
Yeah.
Like it mutates very rapidly and changes and shifts forms
Yeah.
where
I
it's hard to identify.
I guess I want to go back to the kids again. Speaking of this, what can parents or people do to help the children? Like, how do we lessen the mortality rate? Like, besides, maybe giving them the medication, like, what else can we do? Do you see
Don't.
kids recovering from this, basically?
Yeah, I do.
Hmm.
Just like how some adults could recover, but you have to take precaution, and then also it's a hard process to recover. So, like what you said, don't, for parents or if kids are listening, don't see this as a vacation and a play date type of party thing
Hmm.
where you interact with your friends. Keep it very limited. If you must go outside, if you really have to play your basketball, don't play with other people. Play by yourself. Try to isolate.
Hmm.
Try to only play with your toys, not other people's toys. Um, Try to stay at home as possible. If you need a book, try to go online.
Okay, so I get that, but what about if they have it? Like, what do we do? Like, they have it. Whatever. They have the thing.
If they have it, you try to go to your local emergency room, and
Hmm.
if they don't have a bed for you, you try to do your best ability as
The
possible.
precautions, like, try to
Meaning,
help them.
yeah,
Hmm.
if they're suffering from cold sweats and hot flashes, try to cool their body down. Try
Okay.
to keep them dry. If they're crying for stomach ache, try to give them a heating pack for the stomach. Try to even give them activated charcoal or some type of medicine. I'm not really familiar with the medicines
Yeah,
stuff that you should be giving them.
but
Google
just
that
be
or ask your
proactive,
physician.
basically.
Be proactive. Do not wait because this virus just adds on to symptoms. It
Yeah.
just adds on to the symptoms.
So, okay, that's good. That's good advice, Chris. Someone brought up in on one of my Facebook comment. They want to know which countries are safest to be in now and why, or if they should travel to those countries if they can that are safer. And I did answer someone in the question in the comment, but I want you to, talk
Mhm.
about that. Are there countries that are safer now? Is every country going to be hit? Is like, you
So right now, it's called pandemic for a reason. It is globally, and everyone can get it.
know.
anyone can get it. You know that saying, anyone can get this hand? That's the virus. Anyone can get that hand for the virus.
Yeah.
Catch it. Anyone can catch it. Right now, you're not really hearing much about the islands and the Caribbeans, the little islands and stuff, but they will be getting it too. You're better off staying where you're at, where your home is at, and in your country, because when you try to venture off to another thing, they might not have what we have here. Like, I know that is scarce, like the pickings for materials and for certain things, food and stuff, but as a society and as here, as in the States, we know that we will get plenished. Other countries don't have that access like we do.
Yeah.
Or not saying that they're dirty or anything, or just have that medical awareness as the States do.
Yeah.
This is a pathogen. This is something dirty. This is a disease. This is worse than a bacteria. This is a virus. It's spreadable. And we know that, so we're going to be very precautious. Maybe other countries won't be as precautious because they're not educated in a pathogen. What's a pathogen in a virus?
Okay.
So you're honestly better off staying where you're at and trying to make the best of what you got.
Okay, that makes sense. And plus, you could prepare where you're at and stack up what you need to get and all of that stuff. So let me see what else. Hold on. I don't know if you want to just free talk right now while I look at something real quick.
And then also, you might see, even if you're a pet owner, animal lover, you might see your little furry dog having diarrhea symptoms and stuff. Again, this was transferred from animal to human, from scientists, from a petri dish to human. This is very transferable, and your pets aren't off limits too. But right now, they're not going to say your animals are getting affected. Maybe some veterinarians are seeing a lot of call-ins that, hey, there's a lot of people calling in that their dog is suffering from diarrhea and throwing up. That's semi a sign of the virus is attacking them too, but you have to be very loving to your dog. Give them as much water as possible, or your pets, and see what you can do. Call in your vet and ask, hey, my dog don't take water, or they just keep throwing up. What can I give them or your pet?
So I don't want. So basically, Crystal and I, we talked about this, if we should even talk about the pets, because I don't want people to be like, oh, my pet has it, I'm gonna like send them out and don't have them come back in. No.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. And basically, like, could you ask the spirit what they want us to know? Like, can the dogs per se like spread it to the humans? Like, I don't want. My thing is, I don't need to bring this up.
They're not spreading it to the humans. No.
Because I don't want people to be like, oh, yeah.
They're not. No, they're not spreading it to humans. It's just symptoms. Everyone's going to have a form of symptom, and it's just making us more aware and empathic, with empathy for all the living things. Like, okay, or sympathy. Hey, I know how it feels to have diarrhea. I know that my pet is having that. I want to help my pet. Good.
So it's not like you go throw your pet out.
No,
because I'm very sensitive to that. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't even bring this up.
No, you don't. No.
Okay. And another good thing that you brought up that I want to touch on is, we were talking about this offline before about possibly taking money out, making sure you have hard cash. So getting money out the bank, and why that's important.
So who's listening now? We are in a pandemic, and people do rash decisions like all of the shelves. If you go to your local grocery stores or your local drugstore, you'll see some shelves are cleared out. Well, that's going to be including the banks, and they do not want a crisis for the country where there's no money in the bank. So try to take out a bit of money as you can, because they will put the government and the media, they will come out and say, hey, there's a lot of people rushing to the banks to take out money. We're going to put a halt on that, where now you can't even access your money. And that's going to be a problem.
And we're not saying go take all your money out. We're just saying basically take a couple $100 out, or like maybe $1,000, so you have that in case the grocery store. And the only reason I brought this up was because the grocery stores may say, we are not taking cards, you need to have cash or something. And that was what I was getting at. Do you see that happening? Because I know we talked about it offline, like the grocery store is saying that we want cash.
Yes, I do see that. They're going to say we're not even accepting any credit cards now, because there's a crisis now in the bank. They don't know if they're going to get credit for your credit card, you using your credit card. So they're going to say, no, we're only accepting cash. Even at the gas station, no, we are not accepting cards, only cash at this moment.
Yeah, so that's why it's good.
You just don't want to be one of those person who's screwed.
Mm-hmm. So just take out some money.
Want to be prepared.
Just be a couple $100 just to have that you could resupply some stuff.
And prepared. Mm-hmm. And maybe your city or your area gets into lockdown, and you are only able to move around in your community or in your apartment building or complex, and your neighbor is saying, well, I have water, but it's $20. Yeah. You can't give them your credit card.
That's true.
So you just have to be very precautious and just aware to think of the worst so you can be prepared.
So, speaking of...
And if you don't... Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, you can finish.
And if you don't have to use the money, then you can put it back when everything blows over. You can put it back in your bank, but just be prepared.
So basically, you're not taking out millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No.
It's just something to have.
Yeah, take out like 70, 80, a couple hundreds.
Yeah, because then I don't want people to be like, oh, I need to rush to the bank if they're listening to this video, and then they're the reason why the banks are shut down. Because they're taking out thousands and thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. No, we don't want that to happen. Just have some spare change. This is common sense stuff too. Have spare change that if you break down, you have money, maybe there's no ATM machine, or no one's taking, what Crystal said, no one's taking the credit card.
Right.
Speaking of like price gouging, which you just brought up, like maybe your neighbor's charging you $20 for water, which would be a shame, but I don't know if you saw the story, Crystal. I think I sent it to you with the guy. I think his name was like Matt Cloven. Yeah, the brothers who, when this first broke out, they went around buying up all the hand sanitizers and supplies, and now the attorney general, I think they're in Tennessee, confiscated everything because they said that during times of emergency you cannot be selfish like that. So now all their stuff is being donated.
Seized and donated.
Yeah. So do you see that happening to more people? And then is that a good thing? Like, how does someone like that person feels that, hey, I went around trying to make extra cash and now that's taken away? If you want to touch on that.
Well, they feel bad because they thought, this is the way I could have a come up, make money. So they're going to feel upset about it. But honestly, you have to think of, it's not only you on this earth.
Yeah.
You have to think about other people in your community. And hey, there is a need. That is a medical thing. Hand sanitizer, there is a need for it. You need to clean your hands. You can't just harbor it, and not everyone has that money that you're price gouging up to. So I do see some officials in areas. I'm not sure what areas, states too. They're going to have like the hotline number. Call in if you feel suspicious that people are harboring medical stuff, gloves,
Oh,
masks,
okay. And I already saw
gloves
that actually.
manufacturing.
That was a part of the Attorney General letter. I saw that you could call
Oh,
in,
wow.
which is crazy.
Well, yeah, and they're gonna start doing that. More cities and states are gonna do that too. So it's gonna be anonymously tipped. And also, I feel like if this is, which it is going to get worse too, they're going to even have anonymous hotline number where you can call in to say, "Hey, my neighbor sounds sick. I think they might have it."
Oh wow. So
Around the people.
basically, if you have a million supplies that you were planning on selling it, maybe this is not the time to sell it because you're cracking down on it. And also, maybe don't advertise it. You could donate if you want at your convenience, but if you want that for yourself, don't be online boasting about how much stuff you have. That's just not
Yeah,
practical.
that's very insensitive.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
very insensitive. I
And
have.
that just shows you're not a team player, and that's never nice.
Mhm. So, okay, speaking of the United States, do you see more states being impacted worse than other states? Or I guess my question will be, what states do you see being really badly impacted? Or just
Well, it's a funny thing. It's a weird thing. I'm seeing the outer borders being impacted. So everything that's next to water, the outline of
like,
the
oh,
United
yeah,
States,
like Florida, places
all
like
of that,
that?
yeah.
Interesting.
All the west coast side, the south side, the borders, those parts are being affected. And if we on the outside border lines aren't taking precaution, it's gonna go inwards into the states.
Oh, wow. So why is
And
it
if they're
affect?
not listening, mhm.
So why is it affecting, like the outer border states?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Hold on one moment. Let me just um own in. I'm not understanding, and this is the problem. This is why first you heard the president say it's a travels virus. So who's traveling is most likely to get it.
Yeah.
And that can be the case too, but then also it's like it's a animal transfer. I don't know if it's coming from water. I know they say it comes from bats too. They could say it could be from water. It could be from traveling with the outside people. This is why I don't know why it's affecting the outer edge, the perimeters
Okay.
first, then the middle part.
Interesting.
But it's affecting that first.
So are you saying people that may live on the perimeters, should they stay where they're at or should they run to the middle if they can?
Don't run to the middle. Your city has it. Say you're born. Be
Proactive.
proactive.
Okay.
That's all they want you to do. Be proactive and do the best you can to your ability.
Okay. And I wanted to touch a bit more on military. I know we talked about it yesterday, but do you see like the various branches of the military being activated? I know the National Guard, as of right now, they're activated, and someone on my Facebook said that, and a part of New York that she lives at, they set up the National Guards in one of the high school, and it's already there. Do you see? Is it just the National Guard that's going to be activated? Do you see more military branch being activated, and what does that look like for the American citizens?
So yes, I do see other branches coming in for aid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be hush hush again because only when you activate military, it's usually a terrorist attack or something bad, and they don't want panic for their citizens, for us, the citizens. But what they're going to do, every state has a military base. They're going to call all of their active reserves and
National Guard. Well, I guess the Guard is already there.
Yeah. But they're going to call all their military people in their states. Hey, they're going to call them in, and they might say you need to come in, so they could give them a paper of, hey, this is serious, and we want you to be all hands on deck in your state.
Wow.
And if you
Okay.
see something, say something, because they want it to be gone. They want this virus cleared out and gone. But yeah, I do see, yeah, the military,
So what
other
does that look
military
like though
allegiance.
for the American citizens? Do you see like maybe Air Force people walking in the streets, Army people?
They're gonna have like a center.
Hmm.
They're gonna have like a center. I know that the military base, they might have their people, the military people, like, hey, I know the civilians are having an outbreak, also us too. So if your family members have it or you think they're sick, bring them in here in
Okay.
this space.
Okay. So
But I don't see them walking up and down the streets. They'll have like a little center where people are at, and you could go there.
that makes sense, especially if it wants to be hush hush. That makes
Yeah.
sense. So I have a question because I guess I didn't touch on it at all yesterday or even today. Um, what does this look like for people in the medical field, whether it's doctors, nurses, the techs? Like, are they going to be inundated with a lot of people coming in? Is it stressful? Just what does this look like for
Yeah.
them?
It's going to be very stressful, hectic, and this is when they're going to, I hate to say it, but like have to play God in a sense. They're going to have to start making the hardest decisions ever, who they can see and who they cannot see.
Oh,
And then also, this is when the medical industry and field people are going to be working with their local government and the military people. So they're going to say, hey, whoever, so some military people, officials are going to say to the hospitals and to the doctors, tell us how much people you have that virus, and we'll bring them here. It could be Arizona or some base that we can take care of them because we have more technology and better equipment to deal with it.
yeah.
And so that's how they're gonna move people. It's like having a ICU for head trauma or something. Like you have to go to a certain place, and that's what they're gonna tell the doctors. Hey, I know you don't have the right technology and equipment for this, but give us all the patients that are positive for this, and we'll take them to a facility that can best meet their needs.
That's hard though. I'm thinking of it from a family member perspective. I don't want
And it's hard.
my
And
family
you don't want to be separated
to
because
be,
you don't
yeah.
know what they'll do.
You don't know.
And that's
Because you see the headlines of like the older people in Italy right now. They're being told they can't be seen, and you don't want.
right.
Yeah. I don't know what you were gonna say, but
and you're going to see that they're going to have to make hard decisions, and that's why if you can beat it at home, you're best off to beat it at home than to.
Unless it gets worse, we're not saying not to go to the hospital.
Unless it gets worse, then obviously you have to go, but
yeah, protect yourself and your family members
or anything. But yeah, if it gets worse, you do have to contact your hospitals, and they'll tell you the proper precautions.
So I just thought of an interesting question. If you could ask the spirits, your spirit guides, tell us to give us a trajectory of how this virus looks. Maybe going through the next couple of months. Maybe let's say this is how it looks in March. This is how it looks in April. And then when do you see this maybe dying down?
Okay, so this is when it's gonna play that the media and the politicians aren't telling the truth or covering it with right recordings of facts. So I'll just tell you from without any of those people, without any media coverage and without any politicians, I'll just tell you the straight truth from what the spirits are telling me. It's just a rise up. It's just going up on a trajectory, going up, 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 up. It's like, yeah, we first see it with the old, then you see it with the middle age, then you see a height with the kids, then you see a height with the animals, and then you see it just everyone has it. It doesn't even matter if you're young or old. Everyone has it. from 0 to 80. Everyone has it. So it's a trajectory going up. But in the media, they'll say, hey, oh, we found that it's only affecting the old. 2 weeks, after that 2-week ban, okay, you guys could start going to school now. Everything sort of died down, but that's not the case.
So you think they're gonna open up schools back again that soon?
Yeah,
I don't see that.
And then there's gonna be another outbreak, and then it's like, okay, well, it's another strand that came out. We have to shut it down.
So they're gonna be as arrogant to open up schools again? Are you kidding me? I didn't see that coming.
But they don't. They want things to continue to run.
Yeah.
They're gonna want people to go to work and want to have a normal life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what months are you seeing this? Like, just to get an idea.
After 2 weeks, what's today? The 16th?
Today's March. Let's say March, April, May, June. We don't have to break it up by the days. On the
end of March, everyone's getting back
to school.
Mm-hmm. April, beginning of April, they're still in school. Beginning of April, some districts will be closed because they're like, hold on, yeah, it's saying one thing, but we're having a dilemma here in this little part of city. So some might close those schools till mid-April.
Because there's some places now that's closed till May or mid-April. Are you talking about the ones that have to go back in? They're going to tell them to go back in? Because there's stuff that's closed until, like, end of April or May.
Yeah, but, again, they're not going to be reporting all the facts. They're going to want some people to go out and work and to have a normal life. Mm-hmm. But some states are going to be like, hey, this region, this city, in my state, you guys, there's too much people with positive. You guys have to stay in. Where another city in the state will say, no, there's nothing, there's no positive for the virus. You guys can go out and work.
Wow. I can't picture that happening, especially now that they closed it down. But I mean, we couldn't picture that they would close anything down, that you would be off of work for 2-3 weeks or even losing your job. We couldn't picture that. Yeah. So it's interesting how now that's the norm, that I can't picture them saying go back right away, especially how you're telling me how severe it is. But
yeah, but it's to not put fear in people, and then to show, hey, we are the best country there is, and we will find a solution for whatever, even if it's prematurely. Okay. But this is where you, as an individual, have to do your discernment and see, and do your protocols, and actually look in your area what's going on, and try to get some information and put the facts together.
Okay. So
and see, okay, is it beneficial for me to go out or not, or to stay in?
When do you see this maybe actually dying down and we're coming back to our norm?
So honestly, I don't really see like the end of the year, but honestly, I don't see it's gonna die down, but it's not because we found a cure for the whole thing. It's just because it just stopped. It goes dormant. This virus goes dormant, and then it's gonna come back again.
When? Like how soon after that?
It's going to go dormant in the end of the year. I don't know when it's going to come back again. It's going to just come randomly again.
That's so odd. But do you think when it comes back again, we're going to be prepared?
No, because we did not find a cure for it.
Interesting. That's so odd. So it's almost like it's here and it's wreaking havoc. And then havoc. And then it just leaves?
Yep. Like that. It's like it came, it didn't even tell us it was going to come. It came and then it went. That's how it's going to be. It came and went.
Does your spirit guide have an explanation for that? Like, why is it like that? What's the reasoning behind, like, this virus? Why is it just here and then not anymore?
It's always been here. It's the survival of the fittest. I hate to say it like that, but it's like everything wants to live and everything wants to reproduce and be the best on earth. Not saying that this virus has a living thing, but the thing that it's feeding off of is living is us. So that's in itself a brain.
So why just stop then?
It goes dormant. It goes dormant and it rebuilds to see what else can I mutate into.
And when it goes dormant, does that mean it's still living in your
It's
body?
still in there. It's still there. It's just not activated yet. The right time or right thing to kill, or I don't know.
Is it something in our body that makes it go dormant, or it's within itself, it just stops?
It like finds like equilibrium in itself and in our body where it finds a good like a good zone period.
So you see maybe by like the end of the year or at the end of the year this is gonna stop?
Go dormant.
Okay, it's gonna go dormant.
But there's not going to be a cure. Although they'll have little vaccines. Oh, this helps with that and that. But they really do not have a real vaccine or solution for this.
Wow. What does life look like at that point? That now it's dormant, so you're not really as worried about it? Is it?
Well, majority of people will be shooken up by this whole act.
Is it a lot of loss?
It just puts it. Yeah, that too, and it just puts everything into perspective for an individual.
You mean
meaning what you value most? Is it money or is it food?
Or is it family?
Is it people or is it family? Is it yourself? It puts things into perspective for people.
Okay. And do you see?
It doesn't mean the same perspective.
When it goes dormant, you see a lot of loss. Like, is there a lot of lost lives? A lot of sadness, basically?
Yeah, it's sad. If you look at the numbers, anyone with a heart would say it's sad. Sorry to be that. But I don't know. It's gonna be different. It's like back in the olden days, we didn't really have a lot of people with issues like, I'm gonna give an example, like diabetes. We didn't see that a lot, or maybe it was there and we didn't have a name for it. It's gonna be like that for us. You're gonna see a lot of people with a certain symptom thing that we've never seen a lot of,
and it's just gonna be there. Maybe
it's gonna be considered, oh, okay, you got COVID-19. Okay. Just like how they say now, okay, well, you got diabetes. There's gonna be a name for the symptoms that
people have.
They're complaining for. A lot of people's complaining for, and they're gonna have to do tests like HIV/AIDS for diabetes, for cancer, for COVID-19.
Okay, whatever. That's
it's just like HIV and AIDS. There's no cure, but we have medicine to help combat it, and that's gonna be COVID-19.
So, quick question. So, do you see? You know how you said everywhere will basically be impacted, but does that mean everyone will get the COVID-19, or just not everyone will get it?
Not everyone will get it. And for the mere fact is not knowing the unknown, because there's not a lot of testing, and the government do not want everyone to get the test, because I feel like we, in a sense, have something, like every human has some form of it. I don't know how to explain it. There's some form of mutation in our body because it was airborne.
Yeah.
In it, and it would say, yeah, you're positive. But it doesn't mean that you're severe as the next person who's positive.
So does that mean that that was my question. Does that mean everyone have it, or there's some people that don't get it?
Just assume everyone has it. It's like oxygen. Everyone has to breathe oxygen to live on Earth. Just assume that.
So why would we not go outside then if we all have it? You said don't go outside.
The severity of it.
So basically, we're not all going to be impacted, basically. Because I don't want people to be like, I'm going to get it either way. Like, I don't feel like...
It's like, okay, we have to breathe oxygen, but then you have some people who's asthmatic. They can't really breathe as much oxygen in as the other person, but you have to breathe oxygen. It doesn't mean that you're severe. Some people's gonna need more help. Some people's gonna need more medicine than the next. Others will not have to take medicine because they won't even have the symptom
And
of the same thing.
what's the difference, let's say, between someone that gets it and people that don't? Why don't certain people get it then, or impacted by it in a severe way?
It's the chemistry of an individual's body. I could use an example like I don't want to downplay or anything, like the herpes simplex virus. Some people some people have it dormant, and some people visibly get the bump on the lip or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And some people will have that positive thing, but don't have no physical symptom. It depends on the body and the chemistry how this virus interacts with it.
Okay.
With the person.
Okay. I think that's it for my questions. I don't know if you want to finish up with anything.
No, if you guys have any more questions or want to elaborate, please comment and subscribe, and thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.